Ariane, how you doing, mate?
All right. I don't think my opinion is actually that much different from Stelios. Maybe not in the way you think, because I think overall, the main takeaway that I have is kind of similar to his. The squad's pretty shit, right? And you can't polish a turd. He said it best. You can't. Some of this squad is just not good enough. He's absolutely right about Tell, Richarlison, Odegaard. The only player that I kind of disagree with him is I think Gray is a pretty decent player. But
Agreed.
besides that, I don't really think he got anything wrong, to be honest. I think he was spot on. We look quite good when we're solid and we're away from home, where we're expected to be the team that's going to maybe sit back a little bit and play on the counter, which is what he was doing at Brentford. And so you bring in Frank, who's been playing underdog football for a number of years, and in the situation where we're underdogs, he performs well. And why are we underdogs? Because our squad's not good enough. And I was saying it in a Twitter space a little bit ago. We probably have, pound for pound, the 10th best squad in the Premier League. The 10th? Do we have a better
10th
squad?
best squad? Do you
Not
think so?
the best starting 11. Not best starting 11. I think our starting 11 is quite good. But in terms of our squad, you look. Here's what I was trying to say.
Are you
I look
including
at
our
Arsenal's
current injured
starting
players in that?
No. I mean, yes. Even if you put our injured players in, I think in terms of the whole squad, besides maybe Madison, 'cause I think Madison's like gone. If you look at the whole squad, right? Not the starting 11. The whole squad, I don't think we have a better squad than I don't think we have a better squad than Newcastle. I don't think we have a better squad than Brighton. I don't think we have a better squad than anybody in the top 6.
Brighton.
I think we've
In
got a
terms of
better
depth?
squad than them, but they might have better attacking options than us potentially. But I think the
But that's
squad.
part of it, right? I think our attacking options are so bad that our squad.
But I mean, in
is just
midfield, I
not-
think we're stronger than some of these teams. Maybe not
Yeah,
Newcastle.
but that's what I'm saying.
Defense,
Like
we
that
are.
compounds. I agree with you. I'm just saying, right? Here's the main thing. Like the main idea of what I'm trying to say. Our team is just not good enough to compete on multiple fronts. Right? It's just not.
Yeah.
So I looked at Arsenal's starting 11 today versus Brighton, and it was literally rotated 10 or 11 players. Like maybe Eberechi Eze is the only player that gets in the starting 11. Maybe they have Odegaard, right? Every single player on that team was that team against our team is a close game. Against our first team, that's a close game. And that is the level. That's the level. We're not there at all. And so Frank, to be honest, he's been working miracles at the minute. Because now that we've really kind of exposed the bare bones of the squad, when not everything's good, not everyone's fresh, the games are piling on, this squad is just not good enough. And you said it, Brian. In the summer, we were all saying that winger is really important, maybe more important than a striker. Absolutely not. That striker situation is diabolical at the minute. So we need to sort it out. The squad's it's kind of as simple as that. I mean, we can go into the game and talk about the referee and talk about some decisions, and those have their place. But broad picture, big picture stuff. Even though maybe things could have gone different today, and maybe one thing here or one thing there could have gone our way, regardless of all of that, we don't have a good enough squad.
So, in time, you say there's a time and place to talk about the game. I think directly after the game would probably be that time and place. So, what you said that referee decisions? What did you think of the goal, the first goal?
I mean, I tweeted it right after. What's the point of stopping play to let Spence tie his laces if you're not going to let him get back? What's the point? Just play on then. There's no point to actually letting him tie his laces and wait for him if you're not going to just let him get back into position. At that point, you've done nothing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand it at all. It's a really, really stupid decision. And what I thought, actually, was 1-0 was probably a fair enough reflection of the first half anyway. But that doesn't really matter. It's not about what reflection. It's about what goal goes in. And the goal that went in for them was really stupid. It shouldn't have, I think 10 times out of 10 I've seen that before. On a free kick, whatever, they're like, let the player get back into position, and then they blow for the. Why is he waving on for the corner as soon as Spence is done? What is actually the point? You let him take it. You let him tie his laces to say, all right, you clearly have an equipment problem, and I don't really care if Odegaard pushed anyone. That's not my concern. It doesn't matter. You can say, oh well, the defending was bad. It doesn't matter if Spence was there. The entire thing is different, right? We have it's effectively like having a red card for that specific set piece. That's what it was. We had a missing player. I had a red card because we were playing with one less player defending, and so we concede. And then the game stays different because we know Newcastle, they're going to play deeper, and we got punished for something that was effective. And also, don't even get me started on that wonderful tackle on Mkolomani. Just stole the ball. I mean, that was Palhinha-esque from him. Phenomenal from Kavanagh.
Did you see more today than maybe what we haven't seen in the last couple of weeks? We've been able to create chances from open play, build up, play, progression.
Yeah, I think we looked quite good actually going forward. And Richarlison is simply not our guy. He's not good enough whatsoever. Very, very poor in pretty much every way. I mean, if we had a real number 9, the attacking play that we actually were giving him, the service we were giving him was good enough that we would have ended up getting a win, I think. Because I think I was telling my dad while I was watching the game, part of the tragedy isn't even that it's Richarlison who's our striker, it's that it used to be Harry Kane. The drop from Harry Kane to Richarlison is like, I imagine, you think if Kane was playing, we don't score a minimum of 2 in that first half alone?
Yeah,
right.
So true.
So
right, but he's the best striker in the world.
That's what I'm saying. It's part of the tragedy, right? But even forget about Harry Kane. Literally, you bring Voltemata, who plays for them. They just got him this season. If we had Voltemata, if we switch strikers, the game flips, and that's on its own thing. Whatever, we can talk about Richarlison not being good enough until the cows come home. Let's talk about the positives. Yes, I think Xavi Simons, even though he had some very, very poor moments, like switching the ball like Emerson Royale, completely hitting it out of play. But overall, I think he was getting some really good positions, creating some chances. I think I agree with Brian that I think Johnson was actually kind of improving a little bit. I think recently in the last couple of games, he looked a little bit better than normal. Hopefully, he continues improving, even though at the moment he's not good enough. I think Bergvall off the left wing, strangely enough, was actually working very well, progressing the ball. Colomwani, when he came on, really good until he got tackled by Kavanagh. Like some really, really good moments of us progressing the ball and creating chances. And again, with a real striker, we definitely score a couple of those. And then also Ramsdale makes a wonder save for Pape Sarr's strike in the bottom corner. Different things, very slim margins, obviously, and the game could go completely differently. But it didn't. And that's football.
Frank said on Sunday he made some structural adjustments, to how we're building up and stuff. And we saw that on Sunday. We saw that similar today. Xavi and Bergvall close to each other, Spence and Johnson keeping the width. Do you think that's the way forward for us?
Absolutely. I think it was very similar to what we were doing in preseason, and it looked a lot better. And I think we're progressing. But we look a lot more threatening just going forward, whether or not we're under pressure or kind of building up and dominating. Regardless, I think it's just a much better structure than what we were doing before, which just seemed like we're separating both of our lines in an effort to make it hard to defend, but we just made it harder to attack. I don't really know what the point of that was, and it looks better now. So no complaints from me. I would also like to talk about Vicario FC back in business. That was a shambolic display from Anthony. I think Kinski's a talented goalkeeper. Hopefully he's going to grow and become better over time. But today, I think hopefully a lot of you can appreciate a little bit more what is Guillermo Vicario. A top goalkeeper. An absolutely top goalkeeper is what he is.
Yeah, I mean, Vicario ain't making that clanger that Kinski made today, I'll tell you that for free.
No.
That was
and this
shocking.
is what I was telling Sim the other day for Brighton. Look, now, retrospectively, looking at that Brighton mistake, which I think is, I would say it's his real only mistake. I think everything else was forced with Vicario. You look at that Brighton shot that Vicario let in a month ago, and it was, again, I watched it, Brian, remember we watched it together.
We did indeed.
I think it's poor. He could do better, but I think there was a little bit more spin on that ball. Was moving a little bit more than you realize on camera. Nothing I think Vicario has done in a Spurs shirt is as poor as what we saw from Anthony Kinski tonight.
You might be right there. You might be right there.
Yeah.
Ariane, leader of the Vicario fan club, taking everyone down man by man.
What did you think of the fact he didn't play Vicario and Van der Ven? Did you have any problem with that though, pre-game or?
I would have definitely played Vicario. I understand Van de Ven. I understand. I honestly kind of understand the Kinski thing too, because you need a cup goalkeeper. It's a man management thing, and I'm really not that bothered. I think that's kind of where I'm differing with Stale mostly here. I'm not really bothered about exiting this competition. I don't think I understand realistically it's the one we could have won the most. I think realistically we're not winning anything this season. It's a transitional season, right? Let's just keep it honest. You look at the goals. I don't think they told Frank you have to win a trophy. I think it's a very weird aim to kind of sacrifice. I understand why Ange did it because he was in a different situation, but I don't think it's very useful for Frank to like try to sabotage the rest of the season for a cup. I don't think that's the position we should be in this season, and I don't think we had a very realistic shot at winning. I think Arsenal probably are going to win this trophy, and I don't think even if we went to the final, the chances we would probably do a lot more harm than good trying to hurrah this trophy. Hopefully Kinski got a little bit,
Well, you say you'd rather lose to Newcastle tonight than lose to Arsenal in a semi-final or a final.
I would, but even that's not what I'm saying. Like, I think at some point I don't think we were gonna win this cup anyway, and I don't really care that we're out of it at this moment. Hopefully, it actually eases our fixture list going into the later season. Like, right? It's not really copium. I really am not bothered. Like, I've been bothered before exiting. Like, when we lost the final to Man City like 4 years ago, I was very upset. When we lost in the Champions League against Leipzig and against Milan, I was very upset. When we lost in Zagreb, I was incredibly upset. There are games which Spurs lose that leave me very upset. When we lost to Liverpool in the Premier League, when Bergwijn couldn't find the back of the net for 15 shot attempts or whatever, I was very upset. There's games that leave me very upset. Today, I don't particularly care.
I get that, but if we win today, which we had the chances to definitely maybe even take it to penalties today, and if we win today, we get Fulham at home in the quarterfinals, which says a good chance of us getting into the semi-finals. And once you're in the semi-final, anything can happen. Surely, I mean, for me, it's always a bitter pill to swallow when we get out of any competition, no matter what it is.
Maybe we just have different perspectives. I think I just don't care this much about this. Clearly, look, whether you are going to agree with me or not, I think it's kind of clear that it's a second-rate competition. Every top side rotates, as Stale said. And they wouldn't do that if it wasn't a competition that just mattered less than other competitions, right? Like, there is a hierarchy of which competitions matter and don't matter. That exists. And this is one of them.
Beggars can't be choosers, though.
We're not beggars. We just won the Europa League. I'm not desperate for another trophy at the moment. I would rather us progress and not sacrifice this team's I would rather prioritize a league position where we can go into the Champions League and have a window like we did this summer with that quality of players than increase our fixture list, increase the load on our players, and potentially damage our run going forward into the league. And actually, we instead of knocking out here, we knock out in the final or the semi-final, don't win anything, and now we have an injured squad. We finished 7th in the Premier League, and then what? That's not. I'm sincerely saying if the choice was win the Carabao Cup, or finish higher in the Premier League, I'm finishing higher in the Premier League right now because I think that's where we should be as a team. And the evidence I have for you is we just won a trophy. We just won the Europa League. We just did that after completely tanking the Premier League season and winning a European trophy, right? We did that. That was what Ange did. And now look at where we are as a team compared to where Arsenal are as a team. They've been the bridesmaid, never the bride, second place, 1-0, ridiculed all season, but there's a clear project there. And now their second team is better than our first team. That's the difference. When you're only focused on building, that's the result you get. That's all I'm saying. And I think that's where we are.
All right, Ariane, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll speak to you next time, and let's hope for 3 points on the weekend.
Let's hope for 3 points. I think we'll get it. I think finally this is the season. Chelsea look awful. We're going to do it. Mark my words. We rested Van de Ven because he's going to score a hat-trick on Saturday.
Clipping that. Speak to you soon, Ariane.